South Africa's ambassador to Algeria, Masetlha, is being laid to rest today in Johannesburg. Masetlha died aged 68 after a long illness. He has a long career in government, having served as Director General of the National Intelligence Agency, amongst others. He was a member of eNCA and was deeply involved in the anti-apartheid movement. eNCA senior reporter Aviwe Mtila is following that story for us. He joins us live now. Aviwe, it's a very sad morning indeed, where South Africans have to say farewell to somebody really who is through and through an individual that served the country. Of course, Masetla's illustrious career, particularly spanning even from the days of pre-democracy. eNCA having served, of course, he was the Director General there of the National Intelligence Agency. So somebody really was involved in the governance discourse of this country. Just talk a little bit about his life, his journey, and obviously as his passing whilst being the ambassador.
Well, Faith, you see just by the dignitaries that are trickling in here, just the gravitas and the importance of Ntate Masetlha, of course, a veteran struggle stalwart who also formed key roles in key structures in the struggle, such as COSAS. Today we've seen in the course of the morning former President, statesman Aviwe Mtila, just among some of those dignitaries trickling in. In fact, we have the Home Affairs Minister. I remember that Ntate Masetlha himself was the Director General of Home Affairs, some of those positions that he held in government. I just want to get a word now as they start coming in. Home Affairs Minister, thank you for joining us at eNCA. But maybe do tell us some of the fond memories that you'll share and cherish of Ntate Masetlha.
Thank you very much, Aviwe. Indeed, he was in Home Affairs long before I came in. I was still an MEC in Limpopo when he was a Director General of Home Affairs. And I still remember him coming to Limpopo around Musina with the then Minister of Labour, Minister Mtila, because there were problems there around the illegal immigrants from Zimbabwe and the white farmers who were hiring them even when they were illegal, and then at the end of the month chasing them away, not paying them any salary. Masetlha came there. Remember, he was a Director General under the then Minister of Home Affairs, Dr. Mangosuthu Buthelezi. That's when I started working closely with him. But when I arrived in Home Affairs, he was already long gone. I think, he was in state security then at that moment.
But let's maybe then reflect on his earlier years, especially the structures that he formed part in finding, such as the Congress of South African Students, for example. Some of those roles that he played even in eNCA were part of the 1976 uprising. Maybe tell us a bit of the importance of his role in the struggle.
Oh, it was extremely important. As you are saying, they are the 1976 generation, of course. The people who actually started the path for their youth to get into the struggle and take over the country. And as you said, he was part and parcel of eNCA, very well trained. And when he was a Director General of State Security, you could see state security at that time was very strong. You could see that it's led by people who actually learned from the trenches exactly what the struggle is all about.
And when it comes to the youth structures, key formations of the youth structures, even the Azanian structures, what can the youth of today take from Ntate Masetlha and the role that he played when it comes to the youth development?
I think it's a lot. During those eras, you will mature before your time in new structures. I was also, by the way, the first national correspondent secretary of AZASO, immediately after it was officially launched in 1981. So I know you mature before your time, because you are forced by the circumstances to lead. And remember, during that time, there were no rights. They will shoot you to death. Anytime they want to, they can expel you from school, which is much better actually. But the main thing is that you could die any moment. And those were the days during which people like Masetlha took the lead.
Okay, thank you very much, Home Affairs Minister. I want a quick comment now from someone who grew up in the youth ranks of the African National Congress, and just to get a sense of what he has learned. Lebohang Maile, thank you for joining us, MEC. What you've taken out of the life of Ntate Masetlha as some of the person that groomed the youth in the structures.
Thank you very much. Comrade Billy Masetlha belonged in a generation that was courageous, that was determined, that was loyal, that was organized, and that was conscientized. And that's why they were able to make a dent and to also make a huge difference. He was part of a generation that formed the Congress of South African Students in 1979. And you will know the role and place of COSAS in the history of our country. It has contributed significantly towards the creation of what we call LRCs in our schools, what we call the school governing bodies. It has eradicated the corporal punishment, done away with school fees in schools, and many other things. So their role it has been big and impactful. So he will be remembered, him and his generation, as being very loyal and dedicated to the cause of freedom.
All right, thank you very much. The Lebohang Maile, of course, growing up in the ranks of the African National Congress, especially the huge structures that a lot of them were formed and founded by Ndate Billy Masetlha. He, of course, among others, he's part of the 1976 uprising, youth uprising. And of course, before that, he was also imprisoned for 2 years for refusing to turn state witness against leaders of the time, such as Joe Gabi. And then going on later on, of course, to join them in exile in both Botswana as well in Zambia. Now we've seen the coffin just enter the Methodist Church here in Bryanston, of course flanked by the family there, as processions are about to be underway any minute now.
Aviwe Mtila, much appreciated there. Of course, he'll be giving us that developing story throughout the morning. A person of such gravitas obviously being laid to rest this morning, as of course the African National Congress as well as his colleagues in governance say goodbye to one such Ndate Billy Masetlha.